ada satu pertanyaan, apa sebenarnya bioetika itu? Bioetika itu berkembang dari waktu ke waktu. Yang tadinya etika menjadi biomedical ethics, oleh karena yang banyak menggunakan etika itu kedokteran, medical tadi. Namun demikian sebenarnya pada saat ini yang tidak etis itu tidak hanya kedokteran saja, bisa terjadi di hampir semua bidang ilmu. Sehingga dengan demikian dari biomedical ethics tadi berkembang menjadi bioetika, kemudian global bioethics, ya. Dan yang terakhir yang kita kembangkan di sini, apa yang kita sebut dengan the new sense of bioethics. Ini pun saya mengembangkan ini distimulasi oleh sekretaris UNESCO yang di Paris. Pertanyaannya, Narto, kamu punya Pancasila, tolong etika itu dikembangkan ini. The new sense of bioethics itu adalah satu studi dari transdisciplinary subject, biologi dan seterusnya, ya. Ada sosiologi, ada economics, ada politik, language, bahkan arts, and is studying of human behavior untuk memiliki in having a new tolerance on transdisciplinary attitude. Apa itu artinya? Memang ada keterangan lebih lanjut, tapi itu setidak-tidaknya batasan dari New Sense of Ethics. Tadinya itu respect for person, beneficence, dan justice. 3. Berkembang menjadi 4. Respect for autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, dan justice. Nah, dengan the new sense of ethics ini, respect for others itu berarti respect pada antar orang dengan hewan, antar orang dengan tumbuh-tumbuhan maupun lingkungan. Ya, jadi dengan demikian respect for others itu ada artinya tersendiri, berkembang lagi. Beneficent, non-maleficent, yang kita tambahkan di situ adalah tidak hanya justice, tetapi it should be social justice for all. Itulah Pancasila.
Center for Bioethics and Medical Humanity atau CBMH merupakan bagian dari Fakultas Kedokteran, Kesehatan Masyarakat dan Keperawatan Universitas Gadjah Mada. Sebagai bagian dari perguruan tinggi ini, kami mengemban tanggung jawab untuk melaksanakan Tridharma perguruan tinggi. Kolaborasi nasional dan internasional merupakan kunci dalam melaksanakan Tridharma tersebut. Melalui kolaborasi ini pula, CBMH dapat bertransformasi menjadi sebuah pusat pengembangan ilmu bioetika dan humaniora kedokteran dan membidani lahirnya program Master Bioetika.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, our honored guests, our speakers, our colleagues, and our friends. On behalf Center for Bioethics and Medical Humanities, please welcome to Bioethics webinar series, From Data to the Bedside, Ethics in Using Artificial Intelligence for Clinical Purposes. My name is Mahmasoni Masdar. I will be your Master of Ceremony from this webinar, and allow me to extend our highest respect to our honored guests, Profesor Sunarto Sastrowiyoto, Profesor Sri Suparyati Sunarto, Dr. Anda Retna Siwi Padmawati, and our all speakers, Profesor Dik, Dr. Lutfan Lazwardi, PhD, Dr. Nur Azid Mahardinata, Magister Bioethics, and our moderator today, Dr. Wika Hartanti, Master of International Health. Before we start, I will read the rundown. For the first opening and greetings, then welcoming remarks by Dr. Retna Siwi Padmawati as our Director of CPMH UGM. Then the three focus talks and followed by panel discussion, and then the key takeaways by the moderator, Ibu Wika Hartanti, then group photo, and then the closing. It's now my honor to invite Dr. Retna Siwi Padmawati to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Mas Sony. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again, Prof. Dik. Thank you very much for the attendance of this very, very important seminar, because now AI is something that is already transforming medicine. And for today, we will have three speakers. First is Prof. Dik from the UMC, Amsterdam UMC, and then Dr. Azid and Dr. Lutfan. It has been how many years with Prof. Dik? You are our mentor for 18 years already, I think, and this is how many times you are in Jogja, already at UGM especially, So for today's seminar, let me begin with a question, With AI, will AI make us better healers, or will it turn us into more distant technicians? So because artificial intelligence is already transforming medicine from data analytics to bedside decision making, but technology alone does not guarantee better care. So if we are not intentional, AI could risk eroding the trust, empathy, and dignity that lie at the heart of the patient-clinician relationship. So I think this seminar is about more than algorithm and applications. It is about ethics, about ensuring that AI support the side of medicine rather than replacing it. So together, let us ask not only what AI can do, but what AI should do to truly enhance patients' care. So we are talking about ethics in AI. What should do to enhance patients' care? So I think this is a very important topic, and we will not avoid the topic, of course, because so many people maybe comparing the AI and also the human being for many studies already, and then also some research done in the what is the physicians or the health providers thought about AI. So there are still many different fragmentation of opinion, but this is actually the technology is there, and then we should face it. Yeah, thank you very much. I think this is the opening remark for this very, very important seminar. Thank you very much, Prof. Dick, Mas Azid, and also Dr. Lutfan, and all of the those who are joining this session more in the online. Yeah. And thank you very much also for the support of Prof. Narto, Prof. Yati, and other professor in Faculty of Medicine. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ratnasiwi Padmawati, for the messages. And before we jump to the next agenda, I will remind you this webinar is bilingual, so the participants can ask with Bahasa Indonesia, and then we translate it to English if the question for Professor Dick. Okay, the next agenda is the seminar or the talks will be led by the moderator, Ibu Dr. Wika Hartanti. She is a lecturer, a researcher, and clinical ethics facilitator in broad experience in bioethics and medical humanities, of course. And please, Dr. Wika Hartanti, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mas Soni. I'm taking it from here. Thank you for introducing me. So where's the camera? I need to be aware of the blocking, so that's a camera. Yeah, so we shall begin with very interesting topics today. We have three topics that is really interesting because we're going to dissect down about how to manage or address the issue from data to bedsides, ethics in using artificial intelligence for clinical purpose. So I guess we're going to put a bit more specific context in how AI is utilized for clinical purposes in the clinical setting for service. So we have three speakers with us today here. We have Prof. Dick with me. I'm so glad Prof. Dick is able to be here in Jogja again in Indonesia. As Bu Siwi mentioned, must have been your, I don't know, is it more than 120 times
More than
visit?
120 times.
No, but more than 20 times, so that's a lot.
A bit less. But
Yeah, so
close. Yeah.
it's almost like every year that you must have spent time in Indonesia. So can you call it like your second hometown? Yeah. So we're happy to have you here again. Hopefully another time next year too. So we have Prof. Dick here with us, and we also have already Dr. Lutfan and Dr. Azid. Is it online? So I'm going to greet Dr. Azid and Dr. Lutfan. Dr. Lutfan, I see Dr. Lutfan here. Good afternoon, Dr. Lutfan. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making the time to also share your expertise and experience about AI. And hello, Dr. Azid.
Hello, Dr.
Thank you for joining this afternoon with us today. Yeah. So I think it's also fitting the theme because we're talking about AI and its application specifically for healthcare service and clinical purpose. We are also hopefully smoothly having this webinar hybrid. So that's why we have two of our speakers online and we have another two here offline. So this is a good combination. So thank you for being with us and also thank you for the audience who have already joined us. So we shall begin with some sharing or maybe experience sharing from Prof. Dick and then Dr. Lutfan and then Dr. Azid. So I will immediately begin with introducing Prof. Dick. But for our network in bioethics, I'm sure you are already famous and popular, but I'm still going to introduce you again, just in case, because we are very optimistic. We have new people coming in and interested with this topic. So I'm going to introduce you, Prof. Dick. So Prof. Dick Willems, Professor of Medical Ethics at Amsterdam University Medical Center, University of Amsterdam. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Yeah, so Prof. Dick's work has been very influential and centered around medicine and philosophy, particularly about end-of-life decision-making and physician-assisted death and ethical challenges in healthcare, and also including technology. So that's why we are very eager to learn from you about how the artificial intelligence, especially related to patient data, with AI, current AI implementation, the ethical foundations, consent pathways, and safeguards. So we are very hopeful to learn a lot from Prof. Dick today. And for the participants, do not hesitate. If you have questions or comments, you can start writing it down in the chats, right? So our committee will help compile the chats and the questions, and then we're going to be discussing after our 3 speakers finished sharing their experience. So we will have discussion together by the end. So please write down your thoughts, your comments in the chat. We shall proceed to Prof. Dick. Time is yours.
Thank you so much, Moika. I'm really, really happy, as I said already, to be back in what has become a sort of a second hometown. Yeah, so been here so often, so it's really nice to be back, and it's also nice to be back live here. Usually, I'm the one who's online. So it's very nice to revert things, and I'm the one who's offline and the others are online. So that's what the world will be in the future. These things will be reverted all the time. So I'm really happy to be able to participate here and give you some of the experiences and things and thoughts that we have in the Netherlands and in our work in bioethics related to AI in medicine. I want to start maybe a bit earlier than AI, because I have a bit the feeling that when we start by talking about AI, we start at the end. It's a lot bigger development, as you already alluded to. The fact that we're doing this way is already part of a development. Can I have the next slide, please? So what I want to say a few things about is the concept of digital health, because I think AI is just one of the expressions of the concept of digital health, and that involves a lot more, and maybe also a lot more important things too, and a lot more frequent things. So can I have the next, please? Yes. So the WHO Europe has issued a report that I just showed you in the previous slide. Thank you very much. Oh, I can do it myself. That's great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, another technology that makes life easy, of course. So I think we should consider, and that's what the WHO also does, we should consider artificial intelligence as one of the ways in which health and healthcare become digitalized. So it's an expression of digital health. So the focus of this report of Europe, of WHO Europe, is that digital health should be an integral part of health priorities and benefit people in a way that is ethical and safe and secure and reliable, equitable and sustainable. So in this sentence, you already have the answer to the question that Busiwi raised. Will we become better healers? WHO says yes, we probably will become better healers using the possibilities that digital health offers. But we should develop that kind of technology under conditions of ethical and safe and reliability and equitability, so justice and sustainability, with principles of transparency, and transparency is an issue that I'll come back to, because that's a bit difficult sometimes in the case of AI, accessibility, scalability. Well, they have all these terms, but they have a lot of conditions. But the bottom line is that WHO, and I agree with them, thinks that forms of digital health, including artificial intelligence, can make healthcare better and can make doctors and nurses better healers. So now I'm going to try to do it myself. Yes. So it can be used, according to WHO, to prevent and detect and respond to epidemics and pandemics. It can help to develop infrastructure and applications that enables countries to use health data to promote health and well-being. So it's essentially the use of health data to promote health and well-being. So I'm going to, now that I can do it myself, I can also jump back. So I'm not going to speak about all these other forms of digital health that are also related, I think, to artificial intelligence. So I'm not going to talk about robotics, maybe a little bit, but not much. On mobile health apps, all the kinds of things that we have to improve healthcare. But I'll focus on artificial intelligence and what is needed for artificial intelligence in terms of data. So this is essentially the two topics I'll be speaking a little bit about is about big data on the one hand and about the use of artificial intelligence on the other. So what do we call big data? It is large-scale, multidimensional aggregations of heterogeneous data and the analysis of those data. So that's essentially what big data is, and I think the crucial idea why we would need artificial intelligence is that it becomes more and more difficult to handle and master these data if you don't use artificial intelligence. So I want to start a bit with a project that we had in Amsterdam that was related to the use of artificial intelligence. And the problem, the initial problem of this project was that some forms of cancer begin with very common symptoms. So they may be very difficult to discover. And esophagus cancer is one of the possible examples. And so what the project was aiming to do is to combine biological data, life story data, all kinds of data about the context of patients, and then make, through that, the prediction more accurate and more personalized. So it would combine, and that's why it was big data, it would combine data from a very rich variety of sources to come to a prediction of esophageal cancer of patients who came with very common symptoms, like a bit of nausea or a bit of swallowing problems. And so it was, in fact, artificial intelligence intended to be used in general practice. So it's not high-tech medicine, it's general practice. So it had to collect daily life data, and then I'm talking about data about, for instance, shopping, or data about the streets and the shops that people went to, where they went and in what circumstances. Also medical file data from GP registries, pharmacies. So all those things would have to be combined to finally reach a predictive score for a patient. So it's in fact an example of data mining combined with machine learning. And that might be a way to find markers and to personalize medicine. So there's a big relationship, of course, with personalization of medicine. And this is a study that would combine all sorts of primary care and lifestyle data from really millions of people in Europe to be able to come to this type of an algorithm that would help explaining the higher likelihood of cancer. Now, in this project, which was a I think 20 million euro project, there was a parallel ethical study. So what we often call embedded ethics. So during the project, there was a presence of ethicists who continuously checked for ethical issues coming up and then investigating those ethical issues as part of the project. And that's something we see more and more. In fact, the European Union, that has a big focus on the use of AI in all kinds of societal practices, always asks for embedded ethical studies. So for ethicists, that's very nice because they have a lot of work to do. So there's a lot of employment in especially EU studies on, for instance, this type of technologies with ethicists involved. So, oh yeah, I'll do it myself again. So we published a paper a few years ago already on big data, big ethics. That's the title of the paper. So how can you handle data from medical emergency settings to use in research? And so the ethical issues that we found in the literature, but also in the practice of using this type of data, were about maybe not unexpectedly about privacy breaches. There've obviously been huge privacy breaches in the field of the use of big data for health care. Another one, obviously, is the risk of hacking or other forms of cybercrime with the data that's generated and that's transported over the internet. That was the ethical possibility of maybe genetic discrimination, where genetic data were also involved in the big data files that were used for this project, because it needed genetic information to become more to become better statistically, to increase the statistic quality. But genetic issues is obviously very ethically laden. So the use of that type of data, and especially the risk of them being transported outside of the context of the research, were big. One of the ethical issues was also the disclosure of individual findings. So to what extent individual findings and individual risks should be disclosed to patients. If the AI system would pinpoint a higher risk in a person, to what extent should that be disclosed to the person? And one of I think the very interesting and unsolved ethical issues is what you can do with data as soon as a patient has passed away. So if we can use post-mortem data still for research, it may be essential, very important data, but it may also be data that no one ever has given consent about to be used in later research. So those were the ethical issues that came up related to the use of data, the data that you put into the AI system. So just to go back a bit about why would we want the use of AI in clinical care. So the main thing, as I already said a bit, is that artificial intelligence can be very good at analyzing extremely large and varied data sets. Even unstructured text is not a problem for a lot of AI systems. It is good at learning, so it can teach itself. And that's something that the usual statistical methods completely miss. That's something we have to do as humans, because the systems can't do it. Here, artificial intelligence keeps learning on the basis of the data it is fed with. It's very fast. And one of the big advantages, obviously, is that it never gets tired. So it lacks a few of the human properties that sometimes are may hamper good diagnosis or good medical work. But it may obviously also crash. Also, humans can also crash, of course, but maybe less dramatically than computer systems. I think there's also a number of fields that artificial intelligence is not yet good at, and I'll come back a bit to those fields in a minute. And those are, especially the last one I'll say something about, and that's taking emotions into account. And let alone showing emotions. I mean, doctors obviously can take emotions of patients into account in a consultation, and they can also show, let's say, empathy. But something like empathy is very difficult yet for AI. Even though there was a publication quite recently of people who, and that may surprise you, who had a sort of an emotional affair with their AI system. And there's even been divorces because of users of AI getting into, let's say, something like an emotional relationship with AI systems and computers to the burden of their human partner. And so there have been cases of divorces already because the person spent much more time with their artificial partner than with their flesh and blood partner, who felt so it's going quite fast in a certain sense. But it's still not yet good especially in medicine, in taking emotions and into account. And it's also not very good at making ethical decisions. I'll return to that, but because it's one of the interesting developments that is taking place at the moment. I want to make a little disclaimer also. A lot of AI is developing very much, and the message that it is developing is also plugged very much, because many of the AI companies need us to believe that it is going very fast and that things are changing in a very, very rapid way, because they want to sell their stuff, of course. But it is mostly still scientific. And it may be disruptive, but there are many voices also that say it may not be that disruptive. It may just be a tool that we can use if we need it, and that we just don't use if we don't need it. And that's one of the things that we learn to do, not use it when we don't need it. So don't use ChatGPT for something simple, or don't use it if you can easily do it yourself. So, and I think we hear too little about the failures of artificial intelligence. And I'll give you just a brief example of a research project that we're also in as embedded ethicists, and that's a research project, I've been speaking a little bit about it this morning, that investigates the prognosis of people who have had a heart attack. So it investigates the prognosis to be able to decide which patients should get an implanted defibrillator and which patients shouldn't. So it's investigating those problems, and initially that project was very much focused on using artificial intelligence to make that type of prognosis. And that's why it got the big funding it got from the EU, because there was AI in it. The EU likes AI, so they wanted projects with AI. But in the course of the project, what turned out was that the artificial intelligence didn't add anything to the traditional methods. In fact, the traditional methods had better prognostic models than the artificial one. So, and we don't hear those failures very much. Sometimes everybody keeps saying that artificial intelligence is better than us on a number of accounts, but it's sometimes not better. It sometimes does worse. And I think one of the things that we hear very little is that human beings are a lot more efficient in reaching decisions. Artificial intelligence, and there's a little bit of attention for it now, is a very energy-consuming way of reaching decisions, because it takes up a lot of database space in the internet, and it has all the what's it called again? Where the internet the data centers are really overburdened because of the use of AI. It's completely inefficient. So never use AI for something you can do simply by having all the energy we need is a good lunch, I think. And artificial intelligence needs a lot of electricity and of fossil fuels and everything. So it's obviously not very sustainable if we keep using it for things that we don't use it for. So also, part of the disclaimer is that some of the ethical worries may also be exaggerated. Go too much with the story that AI will be very quick and will disrupt everything within a couple of years. That promise is, I think, a fiction. So, oh yeah, I do it myself again. So, one of the examples that we've been developing in the Amsterdam University Center is an AI system that would help to determine the moment of discharge from intensive care unit to the regular ward. So, and the problem was that human doctors sometimes are not very good in the prognosis of readmission. And patients sometimes had to be readmitted to the ward quite quickly. And what they wanted is a system that would be better at prognosis. Because readmission is bad for patients, then you put them, well, you understand. It leads to higher mortality, quality of life goes down. And so there is an AI system based on an AI system that helps doctors, and that's, I think, a crucial thing. It doesn't take the decision, but it informs doctors and it gives them a suggestion to at what moment a patient might be discharged. And it's based on enormous amounts of digital information about this singular patient. So the question is there any possible ethical issues there? And I can see one, and that's the risk that at some point, if the AI keeps doing a better job than doctors, then doctors may forget that they still have a role. So it may de-skill the doctors and also make them lose the idea that they still have a role and they will not remain in charge of the system is one, I think, one of the possible ethical issues. Aside from consent, which is already difficult in intensive care units, but especially when you use artificial intelligence. It's difficult for patients to understand what's happening if you're using an AI system. So we did a scoping review of ethical issues, and that review was had a few issues that I think are important to keep in mind. I've already mentioned privacy and security, and one of the things is that usually data are obviously used in anonymous fashion, so they get aggregated without names and birth dates and everything that can identify people. But if you have enough of those data about a person, then an artificial intelligence system may have no big trouble re-identifying it from the data without the name and the birth date. You just need to see patterns, and then you can finally attach those patterns to a person. So they may be re-identifiable. And that's something that you don't want, probably. And the hacking, I already mentioned something about. And informed consent, as I already said, is threatened by what's obviously called the black box character of most AI applications, where there's not transparency, where transparency is lacking. Because, in fact, if the AI system starts learning on its own, then finally nobody knows anymore why they do what they do, because it's something they have learned. Like it's a bit like doctors who learn new things, then other doctors may not know why they do those things because they have learned and they have internalized those things. And the same thing happens with artificial intelligence. So it becomes in the more advanced forms, it becomes less and less accountable and transparent. And one of the important ethical issues also is about accountability and responsibilities. So one of the important questions is who is going to decide if the doctor's diagnosis and the diagnosis of the AI systems conflict. I think now we're still in a phase where we will all say, then it's the doctor who decides. We are not going to trust in a conflict the AI system more than the doctor. But we don't know what will happen in the future. As I said, many radiologists already very much rely on what the AI system tells them, and they rarely take a different approach. They still can, but they rarely do it. So it may be something that's difficult to keep up, while I keep thinking that it's very important that doctors remain involved and that the AI system doesn't take it over. So, and one of a really crucial ethical issue that's also been discussed quite a lot already is that an AI system has to be fed with data, with a lot of data. If it's fed with data that are biased, and almost all data collections have some form of bias, then the bias will be reinforced by the AI system, unless it has a mechanism in place that can correct for the bias, which is not impossible. But it's not happening very much now, so that the bias in data is obviously reinforced and augmented by the AI and may lead to discrimination. We have had a case in Holland where text data were fed into an AI system for decisions about allocation of care, and they were reinforced by the AI system, and they led to clear discrimination of people who were not originally Dutch. So it's really a threat that's still existing, that we don't have an answer to very often. I'm almost coming to the end. I'd like to just check the 4 principles, and I turn them into 6 of bioethics, and see how artificial intelligence links to those ethical principles. So these are the principles of do no harm, beneficence, respect for autonomy and justice, and I add 2 of them because they're particularly relevant for the use of AI, I think. So it may already have, AI may have the impact that bioethics needs also more attention for some specific other issues than the 4 principles. And that's respect for privacy, I already said something about that, and about trustworthiness. I think trust is really a crucial issue in this area. So do no harm. If you have a patient who comes in for a headache and leaves with an AI-based calculation of cancer risks, he didn't come for that at all. So he may be turned into, he may need to go to hospital, have a lot of investigations, and this may also harm the patient if it's not necessary at the end. So if you have an AI system that gives a prediction without relating to the complaints of the patient, it may lead to diagnostic harm. We all know about diagnostic harm, of course. So that's the first thing. So we have beneficence. Is AI-based early diagnosis really always beneficence for patients? And the question also is, to be able to perform good care, trust is a crucial issue. And if we delegate more and more of the care to AI systems, is there still enough trust in the care system for patients to be able for beneficence to occur? So trust, as I already said, is a really important issue. Trust is something between humans that's occurring, but with an artificial intelligence system it may be more difficult. Respect for autonomy. Do we need informed consent to use an AI system? If yes, is it always the case? And what do you explain about the AI, especially if you don't always understand completely what the AI does? And why should patients trust the AI? So this is, I think, a very interesting issue. I'm just going to quote, because I'm a bit out of time. I know, I see, thank you. I'll stop within 5 minutes. There's the American internist Eric Topol, who has done a study about what AI will mean for the doctor-patient relationship, and his essential claim is that we should use artificial intelligence not for the difficult things, but for the simple things. And then it will leave doctors the opportunity to remain in charge for the difficult things. I mean, for, let's say, end-of-life care, or for multi-morbidity care, or for patients with very specific demands. So he says, in fact, the most important things that doctors are for, they will have more time for that. So let the AI do, let's say, the urinary tract infections, and let doctors do the end-of-life care. That's essentially what he's saying. But we can wonder if the doctor will remain the captain of the ship in all these areas, I think. So the last thing I'd like to draw your attention to is another issue around artificial intelligence, and that's about ethical decision-making. We're in a seminar of bioethics, so I'd like to say something about that issue as well. And there has been a few studies that compared machine learning algorithms for predicting ICU admission and mortality in COVID-19 patients during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this type of algorithms was developed to be able to select patients who needed to go to the ICU and patients who would not go to the ICU. And this is obviously an ethically laden decision. If someone, where do you do the selection and where do you draw the line, especially if there's scarcity of ICU, where do you draw the line between patients who go there and patients who do not go there? And can you leave that to artificial intelligence systems? But it even goes further. Can you have something like automated ethics as well? So can artificial intelligence become an artificial moral agent? So could it make or do or support the selection of patients? And it may be able to do that. And it could even be trained with ethical concepts like beneficence and non-maleficence. And the question, for some people say this is disgusting. We should never leave that to artificial intelligence. But we need to think about why and what we can do to avoid this from happening. So the question a little bit is, can ChatGPT solve ethical dilemmas? I did a little test someday, putting in a case study of a patient who was refusing treatment while the doctors were still thinking there were simple possibilities to prolong the life. And we put that case and we asked ChatGPT, what should we do? And then they come up with a solution that used most of the 4 principles. And they did it in a sort of a calculating way. So, in fact, you had the feeling they came up with a solution, but they didn't understand what was happening. So it didn't really understand the question. And especially also questions about trust and about dealing with value judgments, that became very, very difficult. So I think we're still not in a situation where ChatGPT could do things like this, but I think it's urgent that we as ethicists also think about what we would do if that possibility becomes available. And even though I warned you that you shouldn't expect too much all the time, it's still possible that this will happen. And it's even possible that ChatGPT will solve ethical dilemmas better than some doctors and nurses do who never had bioethical training. So, and I think that's where I want to stop. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Dick, for a very interesting sharing and also knowledge for us. And I'm glad I'm not the one who's policing the time. Hard job for him. But yeah, but we will have more time for discussion. So I think it's really a good way to stimulate questions, and I'm sure we already have some comments maybe, but we will keep it for later. Just keep the comments and questions coming in. Bapak dan Ibu boleh juga dengan bahasa Indonesia, nanti akan kami fasilitasi untuk terjemahkan dalam bahasa Inggris. So yes, so Prof. Dick has been sharing the knowledge and expertise about how AI is implemented, especially the interesting project that you mentioned. It's also eye-opening because yeah, we will see if we can have maybe like a comparison or illustration about the Indonesian context. So we shall proceed with our second speaker today, Dr. Lutfan Lazuardi. So Dr. Lutfan is also still here with us. Selamat siang, Dok. Good afternoon, Dr. Lutfan.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Apologize that my connection is unstable, so probably it's better.
Oops. Yes, Doc. Are you still with us? I think if the video is off, it should help with the connection, hopefully. As long as we can hear Dr. Lutfan's voice clearly.
Bisa kedengaran?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's clearer. Yeah, jelas, Doc.
Start.
Yeah. So yeah, I will introduce Dr. Lutfan very briefly. Dr. Lutfan is our expert in health informatics, and currently Dr. Lutfan is the head of the Department of Health Policy and Management in our Faculty of Medicine. And Dr. Lutfan will be speaking about building trustworthy clinical AI, data quality, interoperability, and life cycle governance. So I think we are expecting to learn more about the development in technologically, and also maybe the situation in Indonesia, how close or how far we have that technology with us here. So without further ado, Dr. Lutfan, time is yours. Is it muted, or is the committee helping with the share screen maybe, or is it controlled by Dr. Lutfan? Yeah.
Bu Wika, bisa kedengaran suara saya?
Ya, terdengar, Dok,
Ya.
jelas.
Apabila bisa di-share dari situ kelihatannya.
Oh, oke. Ya.
Saya.
Siap, Dok. Kami bantu dari sini, dari teman-teman panitia mungkin bisa dibantu untuk share screen untuk Dr. Lutfan, jadi bisa dibantu dikendalikan dari sini. Ya. Sebentar, Dok, kita buka dulu PPT-nya, Dok.
Okay, so well.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really my great pleasure to be here again, although I could not join directly in the room, but hopefully then our interactions my presentation will be clear. And yeah, today actually I would like to discuss with you related to the things which is I think very important, but this is also the things that we are having concern right now related to the data quality, interoperability, as well as the lifecycle governance, which is now it's still somehow like initiative and also ongoing activity. Next slide, please. Those who would like to have a copy of the presentation, feel free to scan the QR code. So this is basically more on my my opinions, which is based on the practical knowledge on the field. But I think this is the things that we can actually discuss together also, and hopefully then we maybe can also work together then. Slide, please. So, well, I think I would like to start with the situation where, basically there has been a lot of changes in the health care services. Before we rely on the clinical competence, but nowadays, next slide, please. Nowadays, I think it's not only that we have to be competent on the clinical aspect, but we need also to have what's so called the digital competence. Since that now there are a lot of changes that actually also influencing how then we interact with the patient, as well as also how then the decision making in the clinical setting will be actually performed. So the patient is already in the era that they now have access to the informations, as well as that a lot of digital health applications already on the practice as well. So this is then required us as a health professionals need to be also having the digital competence as well. So next slide, please. So I think this is also the things that maybe we are now realize the difference if we compare with the previous decade ago, that from the perspective of the patients, they are now having more informations that of course will also influence how they interact with the health professionals. Before we always think that we are on the positions as medical doctors, we are on the positions that not always right, but of course that this is not true, and the patients may also basically challenge our the way that we how we treat the patients. So now patient is also move forward to be an active partner, which is then will also influence how then we will decide how then the patient will get treatment, as well as also the way that how we interact with them is totally different, that we need also then to have their opinion as well, and also what they would like to have is also part of the discussions then. Okay, and next. And another thing is also that because of the advance of the technology, now we are moving forward also to have more tools, including also that nowadays there is publications that mentions nowadays is called Healthcare 4.0, and it characterized by the smart and connected healthcare services, uh, big data, as well as also the precision medicines. And before it will categorized by the implementations of the electronic medical records. And now there has been also changings on the approach of the healthcare services from the curative to more promotive and preventive measures. Next slide, please. Which is also then, of course, because of the technology already on place, that the predictions as well as the prescriptive strategy seem to be promising, since that just for example in Indonesia we have a lot of burden because of the price of the cost of the healthcare is increasing, and we realize that we need to have more promotive and preventive measures. Next slide, please. Yeah. So, well, it has been actually changing also. There is a publication, interesting one, which is predict the future healthcare. I think some of them is already actually happening right now, like the futures of the patient is nowadays is also happening, become equal partner, and then the approach is more to preventive strategy, as well as that the physician is not the single disciplines that treat the patients, but it rather a team and multidisciplinary, and also that the digital health is basically will be applied in the more extensive way, and become more humanity as well. Slide. And just for example, that related to the AI, actually, it's not the story that just happened right now, but it's already have a history a long time ago. Like on the ECG machines, there is also an AI embedded functions that help the doctors to identify the potential problem. And this is just to show you that the AI is actually already on the field, and basically the history is already quite sometimes it's not the new one that probably just recently, but it's already actually have a long history as well. Next. And of course that if we have a look on the reference, there is already quite sometimes that AI has been actually also filled in the field of the medicines. One of them is the PubMed, which is I think you all have or use this services also, that the digitalizations of the medical literature is actually also part of the initiative that using the AI. And I think one of probably the most significant and it's also quite common that use the AI as the missing in 1972 when actually I was born, that basically yeah, help the medical doctors to be able to prescribe the antibiotic in the proper way. And nowadays there are more AI that has been actually put on the machines, several imaging technique is actually using the AI function as well. Next. And this is of course will also influence the well, basically this is just to show you that in terms of the science as well as also the terminology, it's evolving. In the year 2000, it's quite famous that we use what's so called the e-health. There are also other electronic things like the e-learning, e-banking, etc. But nowadays, the digital health, as also Professor Dick Willem mentions, is quite famous also, that actually in this term, digital health, which is actually WHO used it, I think in 2018, in many publications and report, the digital health is more common, but this term is also actually included AI as well as other technologies such as like the robotic, etc. Next slide, please. And yeah, well, I don't know whether I can basically run this, but I actually would like to ask you also whether AI without EMRs nowadays in Indonesia we now on the process of implemented what's so called the electronic medical records. And I think this is also the good starting point that then will be also very useful to then implements the AI as well. But I actually would like also to ask your opinion whether if AI without EMRs, whether this is possible or not. And this is actually the good challenge. But I think since that I have difficulties also to run this survey because of my bad connections. My internet connection is not stable, but just probably next slide. And I think maybe you will ask yes or no, but of course it is possible to have an AI applications without the EMR. But of course, there are several limitations, which is actually important limitations that maybe will be not also efficient then. But in fact, like ECG, which is already in all of the health facility in our situation in Indonesia, have already AI function as well. And at that time, we haven't yet have electronic medical record. And of course, that the limitations without EMR is quite strong and will make also not
I think we lost Dr. Lutfan's voice.
sources. As Professor Dick William mentions that, yeah, we have to fit the AI with the data.
I think we have some delay, maybe, with Dr. Lutfan's voice and connection, but we hope it's returning soon.
I'm still connected, or is?
Yes, Doc, we can hear you
Okay.
now, but
Yeah,
it was missing for a second. Yeah. Oh, no. Hello, Doc? Is Dr. Lutfan still with us? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so next slide, please. Yeah. So, as also Dr. Professor Dick Willem mentions that we have to fit the AI with the data. And of course, that this is also the things that now we are trying to do that with the EMR initiative, hopefully then we can actually also have more AI applications on the field, which can be actually supported our healthcare facility as well. So where we start, as we know that the healthcare is the data rich of the data environment, and we just move forward from the paper-based into the electronic one, and this is the good starting point that expected then to provide the good quality of data that then will affect the AI application as well. So next, please. And this is also showing that the digital health implementations on the hospital is basically quite vary, but RMA, electronic medical record, which is actually this is in 2022, a year before the EMR become obligatory. But nowadays, all of the electronic medical record has been implemented. Hopefully, then will be also the good data sources to fed with the AI, to fed our AI system as well. So next slide, please. And well, I think what I would like to say is that now we have a journey. Basically, this is actually a never-ending journey, I think, that try to improve our healthcare facility also with several digital initiative. And the idea is, okay, so the sorry, Bu Wika, I probably have
But it's clear now,
to
Doc.
connect it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so this is just to show you that although the implementations is vary, and also that the majority of the digital index in the hospital is also vary, but I think all of the health facility is going on the same way, that they try also to improve the digital health initiative as well. And hopefully with this initiative, then the data would be better, and also that the AI will be easier to be implemented. Of course, there are several complexity and also issue that have to be dealt. But I think this is a good starting point that we now already try to have a data from our healthcare services. Okay, next slide, please. So I think all of you already understand well that using the what's so-called electronic medical record will have possibility also to improve the patient safety initiative, to promote the quality, as well as also to be more cost efficient, and also to be able also to facilitate the privacy and to support the privacy and confidentiality actions. And this is hopefully will be much more easier using the technology. Next slide, please. Okay, so but just to show the different paradigms, if we see from several decades ago that there has been also a changes in the center. Just for example, like in the 90s, 70s, the use of the technology is more for the operational and management center. Just for example, the billing system, the cost calculation, etc. So the idea is that the hospital will be able to identify the uh, costs, and will have justifications to basically bill the patients in detail, and they may also able then to calculate the cost, whether they are uh, running out of money or not, or if they already actually collaborate with the insurance, then usually they may also check whether their tariff uh, will probably lower or higher from the perspective of the health insurance company. But in 80s and 90s, the centers is moving forward to the health professional, and the idea is also to equip the health professionals to be able to do the healthcare services easier and also in the proper way. It is why in this era, many digital technology is actually being invested, just for example, like the imaging technique. But then in 2000s, there has been a changing a lot that the patient actually should be on the focus. There is publications from the Institute of Medicines that mentions that actually showing the cases of the medical error, which is actually happening in the hospital and is quite high and may have also fatal consequences. And this is then help us to aware that then the issue should be and the focus should be actually to the patients and not merely to the administrative and the health professionals. Okay, so and this is I think the starting point also that based on the uh, EMR data, then there are a lot of possibility to improve the patient safety as well as also to support the administrative. Next slide, please. Yeah, and nowadays we already implement what so-called the electronic medical record, but it is with the Satu Sehat also that it will goes further to be able to support the electronic health record, which is actually will be multi-providers and also have the ability to support the data exchange, and then will be also able to facilitate the personal health record that the patients may have possibility to access their data as well, and also to participate on their health effort as well. And later on, it is expected also to be what's so called the electronic lifetime health record, that the patient's data is on the entire health uh, history will be integrated. So it's following the life cycles that our data related to health will be basically integrated. And this is, I think, dreams that we expect to have, yeah, in the next futures. But we will basically start from the electronic medical record. So next slide, please. So, and of course, that AI has been basically started to be implemented also. There are several like what's so called decision support system already on the field. And I think there are many hospital in Indonesia is already basically also have this system, which is I think an example how then AI is yeah being implemented. Just for example, like the alert system, the reminders, the drug interaction checkers, as well as the early warning system using the EMR data is an example of the AI that basically being implemented, especially for the hospital that have collaborations with the international vendor. They usually already have this on place as well. Yeah. Next slide, please. And of course, that nowadays there are a lot of AI embedded functions to support also the CDSS. And this has been basically yeah, important, I think, moving forwards, that a lot of initiative to use the AI is basically already started. Next slide, please. Yeah, and there has been also a changings that usually the traditional or conventional CDSS is based on the knowledge, which is usually rule-based, like based on the reference and will be then ruled by the standard operating procedure. But nowadays, the AI embedded CDSS will be also very potential that will be basically based on the data. And this is the things that I think the EMR data play a role also to fit the AI. There has been pilot tests to support this idea, like RSI is actually also now working on the digital twin and AI model for the stroke care, which is then hopefully will be operational in the next futures. But I think the idea is already started right now. Okay, next slide, please. And of course, that using the CDSS, it is expected will be easier to facilitate the patient safety initiative and also to improve the quality. And the core benefit will be able also to support the operational and management. Just for example, like to calculate the cost as well as also the efficiency, like time efficiency, as well as cost efficiency. Slide, please. And this is just to show you one of the publications that harnessing the power of the CDSS. And nowadays, the CDSS is gaining the momentum to be embedded with the AI, which is, I think, have a potential also to be improve in our context as well. Slide, please. Just for example, like slide. Next slide, please. So I think this is now is also becoming one of the activity like many digital startup is targeting to provide the software as a medical device like telecity, etc. And this is also the things that then AI will be on the system as well. Next slide, please. And of course, that there has been a lot of debate also whether this AI will substitute or will replace the doctor or not. But of course, it will be then depends on the situations. Like usually, if it is uh,
Hello, Doc. I think we are losing your voice.
yeah, sorry, I'm yeah, I'm
Oh, we are we are we still with Dr. Lutfan?
okay. Yeah.
Yes. Can we continue?
Okay, so this is just to show you that UGM has been actually also trying to support the idea, and there are several like uh, infrastructures has been actually developed, ranging from the initiative to implement the electronic medical record to also like biobanks, cancer registry, and other disease registry as well. And there has been also initiative to equip all of this initiative using the AI. And of course, that it is expected then it will be easier to support the healthcare services and also then to be able to have the AI function, which is will lead us to have a better care. yeah, I think because of the connections, maybe just go to the next slide, please. Yeah. And yeah, of course, that there are a lot of challenges in terms of the human side as well as organizations and technology. But I think this is the things that we can actually discuss further also. Next slide, please. But what I would like to emphasize also that probably next slide. Yeah, that next slide that we rely on the data, and I think as AI also that we need to fed the AI with the data, and I think now we are on the good momentum to start the electronic medical record that hopefully then the application and implementation of AI will be also have a better positions to support our healthcare services. I think that's all, and yeah, really apologize for the problems during the presentations, but I will stay here for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lutfan, for such an extensive sharing of your expertise and experience about how AI has actually been started way back. Like from your slides, we learned a bit about the history, but now it's getting more popular for us lay people that is actually started way back. And yeah, I think Dr. Lutfan highlights very important aspects that, like what Prof. Dick has already started to, that it's inevitable and it is actually focused and aimed for better health services and better care. And Dr. Lutfan highlights that it starts from the data. If the data is trustworthy and if the data is good and sufficient, then it can actually be utilized. So that's why with the electronic medical record and hopefully the lifetime health record that Dr. Lutfan is mentioning. So we still have one. Thank you, Dr. Ulfan, for staying here with us. We will continue with the discussion later. I'm sure our audience still here with us and have questions too. Do not hesitate to start writing your comments or questions in the comment section, the chat section. Now we shall proceed to our third speaker. Before then, we are going to discuss together. Our third speaker, Dr. Azid, here with us. Good afternoon,
Hello,
Dr. Azid. Thank you for making the time to be with us and sharing your experience and your expertise. So Dr. Azid is going to talk about AI at the bedside, shared autonomy, disclosure, and accountability in clinical ethics. But before that, I'm still going to introduce Dr. Azid too to our audience. Dr. Azid, Nur Azid Mahardinata, Master in Bioethics. Dr. Azid is currently the head of medical support services at UGM Academic Hospital and researcher at our Center for Bioethics and Medical Humanities, and have a lot of experience about advocating bioethics in especially in healthcare, and also strengthening the hospital institutions through interdisciplinary bioethics approach, and particularly interested with technology and AI, right, Dr. Azid? So without further ado, Dr. Azid, time is yours about the AI at the bedside, shared autonomy, disclosure, and accountability in clinical ethics.
Ya, thank you Bu Wika. Kalau Pak Lutfan gangguan koneksinya, saya kelihatannya gangguan otaknya ini. Saya
Now it's interesting contrast with the background white, so it's very clear. Yeah.
Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our sessions discussing about AI. My name is Azid, and it is a privilege for me to be speaking with you today as the final presenter in our series on the ethics of AI in medical care. Our first two speakers laid a fantastic foundation, exploring the ethical bedrock of patient data and the immense challenge of building trustworthy, high-quality AI systems. I think most part of my presentations will be echoing what Prof. Dick and also Mas Lutfan presentation earlier. Uh, to navigate this complex topic, I've structured our session into four interconnected parts. First, we'll reimagine the shared decision making. We will discuss how to integrate AI's powerful analytical capabilities without sacrificing the patient's value, culture, and also family context. And this is about making AI a tool for empowerment, not a source of prescription. Second, we will confront a significant human factor risk, which is what I call automation bias. This is a hidden cognitive trap that can affect even the most diligent professionals, leading us to overtrust our technology. And we will explore that what it is, and more importantly, how to guard against it, as what Prof. Dick already mentioned in the first presentations, that trust is the one of the most important part of the issue of using AI. The third, we'll tackle the practical ethics of disclosure and documentations. When should we tell patients we are using AI, and how do we do it effectively? We will also cover why creating a clear and accountable medical record is more important than ever, as what Mas Lutfan said. And finally, we'll address the inevitable bumps in the road: accountability and conflict. We will try to discuss should we tell our patients that we use AI, and if there's any differences between the doctors or the patients, the doctors and the AI has a different opinion, then who should take the responsibilities? Right. The shared decision making, or SDM, shared decision making, is the heart of patient-centered care. For decades, we have understood it is a sacred dialogue, a partnership between the clinician's expert knowledge and the patient's unique values and life circumstances. It is a two ways to approach between patient and doctor. Now AI introduced as a third entity into these conversations, transforming the dyad, transforming the two parties into triad: the clinicians, the patients, and the AI. This can be incredibly powerful. Imagine an AI that can instantly synthesize thousands of clinical trials, factors in a patient's specific comorbidities, and present a clear visual breakdown of the likely outcomes for 5 different treatment options, for example. This elevate the conversation, but this new model, which we call AI supported shared decision making, comes with a critical rule. The AI is a consultant, not a commander. Its role is to illuminate the landscape of options and probabilities. The clinician's rules is to interpret that landscape, and the patient's role is to choose the path that align with their values. The AI provides data. The humans in the room provide the wisdom. We must ensure technology serves this dialogue rather than to dominate it. And this brings us to one of the most significant limitations of artificial intelligence. An algorithm doesn't understand hope. It doesn't have a culture. Algorithm that even though it is written by a human, but algorithm in nature it doesn't have a culture. It cannot comprehend the complex web or family relationships, spiritual beliefs, or personal histories that shape how a patient views their health. The risk here is profound. If an AI is trained primarily on data from one demographic, its recommendations may be clinically sound but culturally blind, or even harmful for another. It might recommend a treatment plan that conflict with a patient's religious belief or fail to appreciate the central role of family elders in decision making in many countries. This is This is where the human clinicians become more indispensable than ever. Our role evolves into that of a culture translator and an ethical bridge. We must take the sterile data driven output of the machine and contextualize it within the rich, vibrant, and unique reality of the patient sitting before us. We are the safeguard that ensures care is not just technically correct, but also humane and respectful. Let's make this real. I've made this is a hypothesized a case actually. Uh, Here we have a classic ethical tension now amplified by AI. The AI has given us the answer for the highest probability of survival. It has optimized for a single variable, which is longevity. But the family is raising a different, equally valid variable, quality, which is quality of life. They are performing a calculation that the AI cannot, weighing uh, the burdens of aggressive surgery against the potential for peaceful meaning time. So, how do we navigate this as clinicians? We don't discard the AI's data, but instead we use it to enrich the conversation. We can say the data suggests the surgery give us the best chance for a longer life, and uh, but by doing
Uh, is Dr. Azit still here with us too, or still in the connection? Okay. I think we hope it should
now,
recover.
let-
Um,
yeah,
Dr. Azit, we lost your voice just a few seconds ago.
yeah, yeah. I saw the writing in my computer. It's the internet is
Yes.
unstable.
Yes.
But
Beyond our
uh,
control, the internet
yeah,
connection. Yes.
hopefully the PPT will be clear enough.
Yes, it's still clear.
Yeah. Now let's shift gear to a risk that is less about the technology itself and more about how our own minds interact with it. Uh, uh, what what I call it automation bias. What I mean by the automation bias is that even though we are professionals, sometimes we feel fatigue or not in the mood or something like that. And then, but at the same time, we have to make a decisions. Then we will be very careful with that. But to understand this issue, think about the last time you follow your GPS down a strange road, even when your gut feeling told you it was the wrong way. You trusted the machine over your own intuition. That is what we called automation bias. Perasaannya mengatakan sesuatu tetapi AI-nya yakin bilang sesuatu itu adalah sesuatu yang lain begitu. Dan hal ini sangat sangat berbahaya. Why it is dangerous? Because it can lead clinicians to stop searching for confirmatory evidence, effectively transferring responsibility to the machine and diminishing their own critical thinking. And how we should counteract automation bias. It requires a conscious, multi-layered effort. For us as clinicians, it begins with a mindset of healthy skepticism. We must train ourselves to treat every AI recommendation as if it came from a very smart but very inexperienced medical student. Let's say like that, or juniors, or something like that. You would never blindly accept their conclusions. You would instead you would verify their conclusions before you accepted that conclusions. You would seek your own confirmatory evidence. This requires that we also demand training not just on how to use the AI, but on its specific weaknesses and failure models. For those in leadership and management, the solution must be systematic. You must build a culture of inquiry where a nurse or a junior doctor feels psychologically safe to say, I know the AI suggested this, but something doesn't feel right to me. This means designing workflows with built-in speed bumps or verification steps, a true human in the loop system. And it means providing continuous educations because fighting bias is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice. So be very careful with the automation bias, because as a clinicians we are trained years to listen to ourselves, listen to our conscience, and AI will help us to do that better or faster, but it should not completely replace our conscience and our intuitions. This brings us to a question I'm often asked, do we really need to tell patient we are using AI? A few days ago, I think last 2 weeks, we have a focus group discussion and also interview, specifically asking about this by one of our colleague from Surabaya, Mbak Ervin, which is, I think she's also here today. At the first time I answered that if we are we going to tell our patient we use AI. In that time I answered, how can we tell the patients if we use AI? Because AI is already we use it already every day, like what Mas Lutfan just show us in the last presentations, the ECG machine, for example. It is depend on us, on our the clinicians, to use or not to use the informations. But if we use the informations, are we going to tell the patients that we are using AI? Because whatever the answer is, we are the one who responsible for that. But in the sake of the ethical decisions making, for the sake of the ethical discussions, we should remember that the highest, the prima facie, the most, or one of the most important principles in bioethics is to respect for autonomy. So we have to go back to the principles that the patients have a right to know who or what is involved in their care. If AI then give effect to our plan for treating the patients, then it is their right to know that we are using AI. That's my personal opinion. So if should we tell the patient we use AI, my answer will be yes, because we have to respect autonomy, and also we have to inform consent correctly. We are doing that because we are building trust. Well, hospital business, healthcare business, they all built on trust and transparency. So without these two, the healthcare business will be ruined. Patients deserve awareness of limits and biases. But even though we are going to tell the patients, yes, but beware that risk of overwhelming patients with technical details, and also the thinking that AI can be normalized as a clinical tool, is these two issue should be taken care of very carefully. So instead of the patient will give us trust, then the patient can be looking us with one eye, melihat sebelah mata gitu. Nanti tolong ditransfer ke Pak Dik ya Mbak Wika. Melihat sebelah mata gitu. Because let's say in this interesting paradox, the study that I found, some studies show that while patients prefer AI written messages, their satisfaction slightly decreases when they are told AI was involved. Despite this, disclosure is still seen as essential for upholding autonomy. So, is the patient has the right to know that AI getting involved in their care? My personal answer will be yes. But how we deliver that to the patients, I have another what we call the layered disclosure for the patients. Use layered disclosure. For the patient, we use the simple words, but we use the detailed how to use the AI for clinicians and regulators. That's my personal opinion. Whether is it important to document for accountability of using AI, my answer will be yes, because if an adverse event occurs, the medical record must provide a clear and defensible account of the decision making. One of the case happened in our hospital. Well, actually, it's not the case, but there is a request from the directors, one of the directors, to that we should be using AI, especially for the imaging process, because we have delay on the reading the imaging result. Why don't we use AI? Well, there are a lot of software and applications that we can use, we can buy, we can purchase and use. But then when we ask if we use this and replace the radiology doctors, for example, are we going to state that in the informed consent? The discussion stopped there. So because we in Indonesia do not have right now the 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 how you call it, the SOP, the standard procedures on how to involve AI in the documentations. When the conflict arises, clinicians versus AI, then what happens when your clinical judgment contradicts the AI recommendations? And even with the best technology and the best intentions, conflict are inevitable. The world of medicine is messy and gray, and introducing AI won't change that. What is the protocol when your years of experience, your clinical gestalt scream that the AI's recommendation is wrong for this specific patient? What do you want? What do you do when the AI strongly support a treatment that the patient, for their own valid personal reasons, refuses? Uh, this is well, Prof. Dick also asked this question in his presentations, and I think we can go back to the previous discussion that I've mentioned about the automation bias, that we to the AI, what we can do right now, what the best positions that we can do right now is to see AI as our in quote students or our juniors, that their uh, uh, answer should be clarified, should be re-examined. So only by that, then we can be take the all the considerations on how to best using AI. Uh, as a framework for resolutions, yeah. The solution to this inevitable conflict is to prepare for them proactively. Every healthcare institution implementing AI must develop and clearly communicate escalation protocols. A clinician facing an AI-related dilemmas needs to know immediately who do I call? Is it my department head? Is there a clinical informatics specialist? Or should this go directly to an ethical consult or others? This should also mean we must empower our hospital ethics committee. These committees are the traditional forum for navigating complex value-laden conflicts, and they must be equipped for the AI era. This may mean adding members with technical expertise or providing specialized training on topics like algorithmic bias and the black box problem. For institutions on the leading edge, many are now forming dedicated AI governance committees. These multidisciplinary teams provide oversight for the entire life cycle of an AI tool, from vetting it before purchase to monitoring its real world performance to deciding when it should be retired. This provides a robust institutional framework for safety and ethics. As we approach the end of our session, I want to leave you with this crucial concept. Accountability for AI in healthcare is shared. It is unfair and unsafe to place the entire burden of responsibility on the shoulders of the individual nurse or doctor at the bedside. Think of it as a chain of responsibility. It starts with the developers who have an ethical duty to design algorithmic that uh, that are safe, effective, and equitable. It extends to healthcare institutions, which are responsible for choosing the right tools, training their staff, and monitoring performance and monitoring their performance. It includes us, the clinicians, who are responsible for using these tools wisely and exercising our final professional judgment. And it involves regulators who must set clear standards for safety and transparency. When an error occurs, it's rarely a single person's fault. It's often a failure somewhere in this chain. By recognizing that accountability is a shared systemic responsibility, we create a stronger, more resilient safety net for everyone. Most importantly, our patients. So some key takeaway. First is augment, don't abdicate. We must use AI as a powerful tool to enhance our clinical judgment and deepen our conversations with patients, never as a way to abdicate our professional responsibility. The second is stay vigilant. We need to actively train ourselves and our teams to recognize and counteract automation bias. This mantra should be trust but verify. Trust but verify. Third, disclosure and document. Transparency is non-negotiable. We must be open with patients about the use of AI and maintain meticulous records that reflect our independent clinical reasoning. And finally, prepare for conflict. Advocate for and utilize clear escalation pathways and ethics committees to navigate the complex challenges ahead. The integration of AI at the bedside is one of the most significant transformation in the history of medicine. It is not a distant future. It's already there. Our hospital, Gajah Mada University Hospital, also developed some tools using AI. So it's our present reality. So by approaching this transformation with a strong ethical framework, one centered on human dignity, shared decision making, and unwavering accountability, we can harness its incredible power for good. We can build a future where technology makes medicine not less human, but more so. So thank you very much for your time and your attention, and I would now be honored to take any comments or questions from all of you. Thank you, Bu Wika.
Thank you, Dr. Azid, for sharing your thoughts and experience and expertise about how AI can be implemented at the bedside. And yes, it is very close to us already, yeah, because it's already been implemented in the hospital and our healthcare services. I think we have a good time for discussion right now. At least we have around 30 minutes, right? So I do hope we can fit all of the comments and questions with this 30 minutes. Should we offer first with everybody who's here? Yeah, in the we will go to the chat, but we do have some offline audience here. And I think I would like to offer the initial opportunity for comments or questions for our audience who present here in the same room with us in Prof. Dick. And so Dr. Lutfan is still here with us as well, and Dr. Azid. So Prof. Dick, all of our speakers, shall we take some comments and questions from the audience here? Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for the chance, Dr. Wika, and thank you so much for the sharing section today. It's very thoughtful information from Prof. Dick, Dr. Lutfan, and also Dr. Azid. I would like to ask some questions about AI because maybe I'm in an academic setting, so I would like to ask about AI in a clinical setting. So how AI can drive and support decision making in a clinical setting, and as Dr. Aziz mentioned, and also how far we can use AI to support that kind of final decision or maybe recommendation. Should we have to set the boundaries or maybe the limit, and so we can know how far our responsibility as a health provider, and what kind of AI that we can use in clinical setting. Maybe it's different with academic setting, where we have some choice AI that support us to finish our tasks in academic setting. But what about in clinical setting? Maybe you can give some example and how far we can use it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ririn. So, is it addressed for Prof. Dick first? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Prof. Dick, would you like to answer and comments on that?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. I would be very interested in what the other two speakers would think about it, but I tend to follow a little bit what Eric Topol, the American internist whom I already talked about, said. He was in fact saying, for all the, let's say, low stake medical clinical decisions, there's not much risk in using AI a lot. So relying on the diagnostic possibilities of AI. As soon as it becomes a high-stake decision, so something that has to do with either survival or very important consequences for patients' quality of life, I think then the higher the stakes, the more the clinician needs to be the one who decides, and the more what Aziz said, they should be trusting maybe what the AI said, but always verify if that's the decision that they want to take. So I think for simple things, I might go as far as, but just also for the discussion, that's Topol's example. He said urinary tract infections can be completely treated by AI. No doctor needed, no nurse needed, simple. Can have that done by AI. You don't have to distrust them, nothing. And then he said, but everything that's a little bit more complex, the physician should be there. So I would be interested to hear Aziz and Balutfan's comment on that statement.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Dick. So yeah, so you are advocating the ideas that for simple things that is relatively already provided with data and relatively more scientifically sound and easier to make decisions, then AI should be could do it with very limited.
There's also I'll also mention the big argument against this, which is that AI takes much too much energy for that. I already alluded to that. It's a very energy-intensive technology, and treating a urinary tract infection is so easy that it doesn't cost the doctor any energy at all. So that's the big argument against it. But ethically speaking, you could use it for that, I think.
But for safety, like the argument to support the AI to use for the simple things.
It's about safety for the patient.
For the patients. Yeah. Thank you. So we would like to invite Dr. Aziz and Dr. Lutfan to comment on these questions, and maybe also to relate with what Dr. Lutfan has already shared. Is it the shared decision making? Is it part of the clinical decision support system that you mentioned earlier, Dr. Lutfan? Maybe you are going to share a little bit more about that if it's relevant, and maybe Dr. Aziz would also like to comment and highlight about is it actually already a common practice where our physician maybe in Indonesia like maybe utilize or incorporate AI software in daily practice or maybe in the outpatient clinic, assisting the process, making decision with the patient? Dr. Lutfan or Dr. Azid first, maybe? I hope both have good connection. I'm starting to get suspicious. Maybe it is our connection here that is actually not stable, considering like both of them in different place. But yeah,
No, no.
having trouble.
Just now I just come back. What the question, Vika?
Yeah, so about the shared decision making, the question was how far or how should we position shared decision AI assisting shared decision making, like what you already shared earlier, like, and how do we do that? So maybe so Prof. Dick has already answered that. And some are advocates that for simple things, so like for easy symptoms, like maybe UTIs, then maybe it's okay and it's more beneficial for patient to use AI making the decision, but not for complex things. For complicated things, then the decision must have more involvement from the physician and with the patient. So maybe you could add on to that. How is it already in practice? Do we already have that in practice, like in reality, like what you mentioned? Is it already common practice now that our physician somehow incorporates AI and then making a shared decision with the patients? Is that already common practice?
Yeah, I think not only the physicians who do that, even the patient themselves. Now, before they are going to any hospitals to see the doctors, they open first ChatGPT and ask for their sign and symptoms and ask the diagnosis and the treatment. And then they go to the doctor just to know whether the ChatGPT is
Confirming.
is the same with the doctor or not. So yeah, for common persons, which is what I mean is not the clinicians. I think it's they can use AI on such things, but I think for the clinicians, for the hospital settings, when we are talking about AI, we should not use it as only for the in quote simple things, but we use for the I don't know, like cancer, the high stake disease, that will directly impacting the patient's life on the long term. For example, to prevent the mortality or defining the treatment for cancer. I think for that kind of high stake procedures, we can use that. But for simple things, I think yeah, if we do that, it will be the same with the patients themselves. That's what I think.
Oh, so it's the other way around. I mean, are you like it's better that you're suggesting for a high stake decision, more complex, and AI should be even more incorporated and present to aid the physician making shared decision with the patient? Is that what you're saying?
Pardon?
Jadi Pak Azid lebih mengadvokasi untuk hal yang lebih kompleks itu harusnya AI lebih banyak berperan gitu ya. Untuk high stake decision, AI should be more incorporated to help the process making decision between the patient and the doctors.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Because if not, then there will be no difference between doctor and patients. Nanti lama-lama dokter prakteknya pakai ChatGPT gitu, praktek swasta ya.
Because patients already use that daily anyway to Google or ask about their symptoms and self-diagnose.
To be honest, I think that's already happening.
Yes, that's already
Patients already think, so what does this doctor add if the AI gives exactly the same answer?
Exactly.
It's a lot cheaper than the doctor, so what does he add?
Why do they have to travel to the
Why
clinic
do they have to travel to the doctor? So that's already happening. And I agree with you, I think, Azid, that AI can be very helpful in the more complex decisions because it can gather and it can collect and it can process a lot more data. But there, in those decisions, the stakes are a lot higher. And that's the area where I think human doctors should do everything to remain in charge of what's happening, finally. So never deliver completely to artificial intelligence, where for the simple complaints, I wouldn't have so many ethical worries, to be honest.
Yes, yes. Like you mentioned that the commander should still be the human, not the tools. Yeah, I think we would like to also invite Dr. Lutfan to comment, like because Mbak Ririn also asked about, is there any like the actual software or somehow a system already put in place or incorporated in our practice, particularly in Indonesia? Do we have such thing already like used in daily practice of our clinicians in hospital about the clinical decision support system? Is it part of it, Dr. Lutfan, or is it different AI system?
I could not actually unmute myself. Okay, yeah, so now I see. Yeah, well, yeah, I think, yeah, in the clinical situation, I think it's more complex, and of course that it should be actually a lot of considerations to be put on place. But I think in terms of the healthcare services, that usually also including also the operational and management activity, then it will be good starting point also to be equipped with the AI, I think. Just for example, like for the well, identifications of the drug, just for example, before delivered to the patients, yeah, there are several machines as well, which is actually I think it's already also on the place. Like the drug interaction checker is also already embedded into the electronic medical record also, and of course that the doctor will responsible then. Yeah, this is also probably like when you use the ECG, the responsibility is still in the hand of the doctors, and I think this is the idea. And of course that there are also a lot of management and operational practices, which is will be also helpful to be facilitated with the AI before directly to the clinicians.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lutfan, for sharing that it is indeed already in place, even though, and like we can notice from the simple, like already present, incorporated, like the supporting examination lab result or test, it's already using the AI. But also, Dr. Lutfan mentioned that this is also not concerning only decision for the patients, but also like in management resource allocation wise. But I think the highlights is that it remains as an assistant, but the human needs to be the driving factor. So the responsibility and accountability is still with the human. So I hope somehow it gives more clarity and answers your question. Ririn, thank you. Thank you. Can we switch to the, do we have another one? Okay, one more from this room, and then after that we switch to the comments. Can I ask first the committee to help summarize if there is any similar questions, so we can group them together, then we can discuss. Dr. Agung, would you like to comment? Yeah. They have mic there.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I have experience, maybe like Dr. Aziz said, that I have patients that already asked ChatGPT about her symptoms and signs, and then ChatGPT concluded diagnosis as something, and then she comes to my clinics, and then not saying about the result of ChatGPT, just as usual as a patient. And then I have already give examination, and then the diagnosis somehow a little bit different with this from the ChatGPT. I already have diagnosed by ultrasound and also MRI, but then patient refused it. So I think we are now, as clinicians, compete with ChatGPT and also compete with AI for this kind of situation. And what should we do with this? Because then patient have no trust anymore to the doctor, to the human, but he trusts or she trusts more to the AI. In other words, in other situation, we also knew. I heard that ChatGPT cannot reach PubMed, and then we know that PubMed have kind of a lot of very evidence, yeah, very high evidence, somehow kind of systematic review from Cochrane, for example. Then I'm asking about the quality of ChatGPT and other AI when they influence how the patient thinking about, especially the diagnosis, and how then patient now have no trust anymore to the doctor, the human doctor, and then the kind of shopping doctors look for confirmation that maybe doctor number 10 maybe accept their diagnosis, same diagnosis with ChatGPT, and then giving trust to the patient. I'm worried about it. Thank you.
Yeah, would you like to respond to the worry? I think it fits well with your comments about de-skilling. Oh no, about the trust. Yeah, it's about the trust competing with how.
Yeah, I think this. Thank you very much for the case, because it makes it very clear what may happen, and I think what we should realize now as doctors, that we're in an era, and it's not started yesterday, in which patients have information from all sides. Already before ChatGPT, people already searched the internet for all kinds of data about their disease, and I think that one of the things that we can do about it is be open about it. So it remembers me a little bit as a GP. I sometimes had patients who had taken a lot of complementary medicine. So they'd already tried, let's say, acupuncture and homeopathy and things like that. And then I learned to ask patients before we started the consultation what they already had tried themselves in terms of either complementary or allopathic treatments. This is a bit similar. So they come to your consultation, and they already have a lot of baggage or luggage, or maybe it's also rubbish. It may be rubbish, but I think it's a good thing to maybe rebuild the trust, is to organize things in a way that it will not lead to a conflict. And it would mean that you ask from a patient who comes to see you if they already have information from internet or ChatGPT, so that it's open from the start that they already did that. And you can also give your view on the reliability of that kind of information. And that's the second point. I think physicians need to be a lot more informed about the reliability of this type of tools. Because as you say, they make often obviously mistakes, but we have so little idea about what they use and how and what the quality of these systems is. And that's really something that physicians should learn to judge, just as they learn to judge newspaper comments about what you should do with the disease. So maybe those two things. Try to ask from a patient whether they already searched for other things, and secondly, physicians and maybe physician organizations should develop a lot more material so that physicians can also be critical of AI. Because if we don't know anything, then we can also not be critical. So that would be my comment. But maybe Baazid, because he was talking a lot about the conflict and the escalation.
Yes.
So.
But I think he has connection problem, so he's looking for a better place to ensure his connection. Oh, okay. Already, or do you manage to find better connection, Baazid? Do you want to comment?
Hopefully.
Yes.
So
do you want to comment on the experience that Dr. Agung shared about now patients are getting more, and like what you mentioned, that patient comes with already knowledge from the ChatGPT, and then if they're shopping for physician, then in physician number maybe 10, then they finally get what they want. But then how is it actually affecting the trust, and how to actually deal with that as a practitioners, that you have to constantly face patients who already come in with the ChatGPT result?
Yeah. What can
How to maintain
you
the trust, how to keep the trust?
yeah, but can you prevent people to look for information themselves? I think we cannot prevent that, but what we can do in terms of facing this kind of patients is that we are going back to the we call it martabat profesi gitu. Apa itu bahasa Inggrisnya Bu Ika?
Professional dignity.
Kepada martabat profesi gitu, bahwa yang di treatment adalah manusia gitu. The physician should see the patients as a whole human being gitu.
So do we educate the patient about how they should be utilizing and should respect the doctors, or the other way around?
Excuse me?
Yeah. So are you saying that we should be also, doctor needs to also educate the patient that when making decision like this, then doctors need to share their clinical justification and the reason why they do not accept or maybe not facilitating their request? I mean, how they need to keep with the professional standard. Is that what you're saying? That the doctor needs to educate the patient as well?
Oh yeah, that's the one thing. But the other thing is to face this kind of patient is we are going back to the martabat profesi, the honor of our professions, which is to see a patient as a whole human being. So as a doctor, don't be like ChatGPT, which is only answering what is written, answering what is given to you. But we have to see a person as a whole. So if a person say that he is sick, he is headache, for example, then we can see well all headache we can with using paracetamol, for example. ChatGPT will do the same thing, but then we can say that we can look for the cause of that headache. So communications will become the important things. Communications with the patients to see behind this disease, behind those data. Then that will be more important to do for physicians. That's semoga bisa dipahami ya Bu.
Ya, terima kasih. Thank you, Dr. Azid. I hope that a bit somehow responds to Dr. Agung's concern, several of the tips, but there's no very prescriptive way, but maybe what I can take from Dr. Azid's comment is to also understand human in their dimension, why they are actually using ChatGPT is inevitable, and so not judging them, but also be patient enough and also provide somehow offer the extra attention or things, added value that they cannot found from the ChatGPT, like maybe caring for their cause and their concern. I hope that somehow respond relatable for now, but because I have to go to the chat questions that already been compiled. Can you show it in the screen? So I think we will try to be very quick with the comments or the questions. Oh, in bahasa. Bagaimana kita menggunakan bukti yang ada dengan lebih lambat, menunggu penggunaan bukti yang meyakinkan dengan AI. Nampaknya pengambilan kebijakan lebih lean. Apakah mungkin akan tiba saatnya kita mendasarkan kebijakan pada odds ratio dan mempercayakan keputusan banyak. Trying to summarize in bahasa. Will you excuse me? I'm sorry. Bagaimana kita memutuskan bahwa putusan AI ini adalah benar, Dok? Oh, am I reading different? Oh yeah, it's the same. How do we decide that the decision of the AI is correct? I think like the general question is, how do we trust what is provided by the AI? I think it's a bit, it's also a little, maybe Dr. Lutfan can also comment on this, like generally nowadays with the algorithm and the data provided, how do we decide or critically evaluate that this is actually the reliable?
But this is really one of the central questions, because different from previously, doctors used, let's say, scientific literature, they used PubMed, and they were able to see which studies were good and which studies were not good. The problem with many of the AI applications is that they're so difficult to follow, and it's not transparent how the AI system has come to its conclusion. So what it has learned with all the data that had been fed into it, that it's very difficult for us to understand whether the conclusion is right. So that's a bit what I said before. One of the lacking things now is that as physicians, we have almost no tools to be critical of what the AI says. We have maybe a gut feeling, and often gut feelings are very important. But it's very often just a gut feeling, but we can't criticize it. And I think that's one of the main ethical issues with AI, that sometimes nobody is able to criticize, even the most advanced ICT people. At some point, the artificial intelligence follows its own way. When you look at machine learning, then at some points you don't know anymore why they take the conclusion and the road that they, and that's I think the main crucial issue, and it has also a relationship with informed consent, because I agree with Mas Azid that you should inform patients about the fact that you used AI, but that's all you can say almost. If a patient asks you, but how did it come to its conclusion then? Why do you believe it? Then you almost have nothing to say, because it's very difficult to be critical of something as intransparent as a black box. And AI is partly a black box, and partly not, of course, too. So it is understandable, but not completely. So that would be my answer. It's a very good question, and I think we all
Have that
do
concern.
not have an answer yet, and we have to work on that answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Dick. I wanted to actually invite Dr. Lutfan to talk about this or comment a little bit about this, because I think maybe it can also help us inform is there any way that clinician understands the algorithm, or some way have a clue whether or not the decision is already going to be reliable or not? Is there a way, Dr. Lutfan, to know that we as the practitioners to be able to have that some kind of indicators whether or not it's going to be reliable, the result of the AI? And how can we feedback the algorithm, something like that?
I think it's I agree totally agree with what Professor Dick Willems mentions, that there is a black spot that we can actually have difficulties to find out, also to track the reason. Although probably AI maybe will also trying to extract the informations from the references that probably the doctor will use, but in fact it is not easy then basically to track what they are doing. So well, I totally agree that this is a black box that probably need to be considered as well. And I think it's more like there are several options, and what the decisions that the doctor should take is actually will be then the hand of the responsibility is the hand of the doctors. And the algorithm is usually, if it is like knowledge based, which is rule based, then it will be more how to say fix algorithm, but AI probably will not use this since it's yeah, basically like a non-knowledge algorithm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lutfan, for the comments, but it's also, it's still ongoing process that.
You can add a small sentence. Fortunately, people begin to realize this. And there is a big European project underway now that's called Explainable AI, and that focuses on the extent to which we should make the reasonings of artificial intelligence systems explainable to other people. So there is work on it, but it's still in its infancy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we are getting there. So
But yeah, eventually,
hopefully,
I hope,
yeah, eventually. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the comment, Prof. Dick and Dr. Lutfan. Go back. We continue to the question. I was told to be very quick. We don't have time. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God, is it my fault? Actually, we do have another 3-4 questions, but we don't have time. Okay, so how about I propose that because our committee, we already collect those questions,
that's fine.
and then the least that we can do is we can ask for Prof. Dick and Dr. Lutfan and Dr. Azid to comment on that, and then we will return back to participant. So please make sure that we get the email or contact so that we can return all. Oh, there is a group. So there's a way for the questions to be the answers to be published. So then can still have the audience have their response.
How many questions do you have? Hundreds?
4.
Oh, 4. Okay, yeah, no, that's doable. Yeah.
So yeah, but so thank you so much because this have been a very fruitful session. I was told to do a summarize, but I don't think time allows because we don't even have time to answer the question. But I think the comments from our speakers, Prof. Dick, Dr. Lutfan, and Dr. Azid, all agrees that the AI is inevitable, but we need to be aware of the ethics aspects, and the ethics issues. And I think the main takeaways is to position AI as the tool, and the human wisdom is never going to be replaceable by the AI. So a lot of things needs to be worked on that, so that the human position is still going to be not replaceable by the AI. So I think hopefully they can a little bit illustrate what we are discussing today. We thank all of our 3 speakers, Prof. Dick for your sharing of expertise and experience, also Dr. Lutfan and Dr. Azid for providing your thoughts and illustration and also expertise in the field. I should return this to the MC, Masoni. Times is yours for the remaining.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Vika, for being our moderator and a great summary. We jump to the last agenda to honor guests, speakers, and participants. We will invite you to a real quick photo, a group photo. Yeah, yeah, here. Tolong. Ya, untuk Bapak Ibu di Zoom, kami persilahkan untuk bisa membuka kameranya. Kita akan mencoba berfoto bersama. Untuk audiens di sini bisa? Oh ya, kita tunggu, kita coba rapikan dulu. Nanti kita tunggu Dr. Agung, monggo, monggo. Ayo, ayo. Sekalian nunggu Bu Siwi, nanti kita persiapkan terlebih dahulu. Bisa, Dr. Agung, monggo. Minta tolong kursinya. Oke, Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom, hitungan ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Oke, kita ulangi lagi. Bapak Ibu bisa siap ya? 1, 2, 3. Baik, mungkin cukup. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much, Prof. Dik, Dr. Lutfan, Dr. Azid for the time. Bapak Ibu semua, Bapak Ibu semuanya di Zoom mungkin kami ingatkan kembali untuk mengisi presensi dan mungkin ada feedbacknya untuk klaim e-sertifikat. Baik, link untuk presensi mungkin sudah disampaikan di chat Zoom. Oke, thank you very much. I will appreciate our committee, our technical team, and CBMH, of course, for being the host in the webinar. So, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.